What's going on, guys? This is Jordan Miller. I'm the owner and founder of Breathe Heavy. Welcome to the latest live stream. We have a lot to unpack today. I'm going to be going through some of Britney's most recent Instagram posts, and they're all very much connected. So we're going to kind of take a look at them, unpack some of them, and then talk about Britney's book, which she has now confirmed 100%. So going to unpack all that. I'm curious to know what everyone thinks about all these posts. It's a lot of emotion and information being thrown our way. So I'm looking forward to unpacking it with you. But before we dive into the full video, you know the drill. Let's play that intro. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this live stream. The last live stream I did was my best performing one yet. So it's really nice to see that after 20 plus live streams, I'm continuing to grow. And so that's all I really can ask for with this awesome YouTube community. If you haven't already, please make sure you like this video. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, but that really helps this channel grow a lot and be shown to new audiences so they can subscribe. And speaking of, if you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. I'm looking forward to hitting 10K at some point, hopefully this year. I'm at 6K currently. And I'm hoping to look back in years' time from now and be like, oh my God, that's cute. But for now, it's just a steady climb. So any engagement, any love you can show me, I would just really, really appreciate it. Okay, so per usual, what I'm going to do, first of all, y'all can hear me, right? I've had some like bad luck in the past with microphone issues. So I see this is glowing. So it appears we're all good. I'm going to check the comments real quick. Speaking of, please drop a comment if you're watching this live. The more comments, the better. And if you're watching this after the fact, so not live, still please leave a comment. I'm responding to 100% of the comments left on these videos, including this one. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you. All right, it appears we're good. People can hear me, and we're going to move on to the stories. So first of all, I feel like I low-key manifested. I mean, I didn't, but low-key, I'm like, what are the odds of the timing of this? So I played a little April Fool's joke on Breathe Heavy readers. It was designed in a way. Let me show you actually what it was. So what I'm going to do is bring up Exhale right now, which is what I do in all these videos. So if you don't know what Exhale is, it's the community component of Breathe Heavy. It's Breathe Heavy, by the way, was founded in 2004, so it's gonna be turning 18 years old in the next couple of months here. So that's just really wild to think. Plus, speaking of anniversaries, your boy's birthday is on Thursday, April 7th. So I'm looking forward to being 34, which is crazy. I'm like in my mid 30s. We're all like, what happened? Life is going so fast. So what I'm gonna do is pull up Exhale for these stories. And if you haven't already registered, please register there. It takes less than 30 seconds. It's completely free. You have unlimited access to all the topics. Do it in a little bit. Don't do it right away because the YouTube algorithm doesn't love that. Doesn't want to take you off the platform. So just if you wake up in the middle of the night, 4 a.m., moment strikes you, go register to Exhale. Okay, so I'm going to show you the little April Fool's joke. I posted this obviously on April 1st. I hired a designer off Fiverr per my direction. I was like, we need to make a Britney cover. And this is the vibe that I'm going for. I sent him a bunch of photos from her Instagram. I was like, I want it to be like a collage feeling. It's always how I've envisioned a book for her way, way, way before she ever even announced a book, way before The Sun or any of these places reported about a book. I had been strategizing actually to come up with a concept to pitch a book idea to Britney somehow. Anyway, long story short, I was like, since I knew she's doing a book, I was or under the impression that she was, I was like, I'm making this cover anyway. So the reaction was actually pretty good. A lot of people liked this vibe on this cover. And I would like to think nobody really got mad this year, which was super nice. Some years people get pretty mad. But everyone was really cool with it. And most people knew it was a joke. 1 year I changed Breathe Heavy to be like a Lady Gaga fan site. I think it was in 2010 that had meltdowns. I did it recently in Adele album cover, and like last year, the year before was like I leaked like Rihanna's album cover leaked, and I got a lot of comments about that. So every year I'm just like a big old clown. I love April Fools, and I know most people are like prepared for my jokes and my shenanigans, but I always get some people. So anyway, appreciate everyone being cool with that and playing along. I love that book cover, how it turned out. Super cool. So that leads into the news that Britney announced her memoir or her book. However, I'm not going to touch on that story quite yet. I'm going to do that towards the end because some of these posts that I want to get to first lead up to this book announcement. So first things first is Britney has been in her feels in terms of her family more recently, I think, than in the last several weeks. I think there was like a whole tidal wave of stuff about Jamie Lynn, and now Britney has kind of set her sights on her mom. So she's been posting about her mom, Lynne, frequently in the last week or so. So I'm going to bring up the post here, and let me make sure you can see this. Okay, let's swap things around real quick. Okay, so I'm going to read you just a little bit of it. I'm not going to just read you the entire thing of every caption because I want to keep things moving. However, it's worth kind of unpacking this one in particular because it's been deleted from her Instagram, which if you've been following Britney on Instagram, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you do, then you'll know that it's pretty frequent. Britney will remove her post off Instagram for one reason or another. She may repost it, she may not. So this one's currently gone, and she says, I had a calling last night from Jesus, and you know what he said? Dear child, your mom had a serving with her book at the exact time when you needed her most. All for what? Fame and attention. Your ex did the same thing. She's referring to Justin Timberlake. He served with his first album using your name, claiming you did him dirty. Then your blood, one of the hardest times in your life. Guess what your sister does? A book too. All for what? Knowing doing a book is the last thing you would ever do. Well, because you ran away from drama and created a dream world for yourself. So she's referring, I think, to Jamie Lynn going to Louisiana after being pregnant and just like escaping the Hollywood vortex. That's why artists play characters, to escape. And she goes on to be, say something a little sarcastic, and the post has since been deleted. Okay, so there's that post. I'm curious to know what people think about that. I'm going to quickly check the comments. Whitney Smith coming through with some love, a super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Any super chat that I get, it's going to be poured back into this channel. I'm looking to upgrade and elevate as much as I can. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Honestly, like these kinds of things, I know it sounds cheesy, but like I'll get off this live stream and I usually run to a workout immediately after. And I'm always just like, damn, that was so thoughtful and so kind, because I know we're all working our butts off. And so you don't have to do that. So thank you so much. Just quickly looking at the other comments here. Someone asked, what are some topics you feel that fans really want her to write about in her book, but I think she'll end up leaving out of the book? I'll circle back to this when we talk about the book in a little bit here, but I think she's not going to touch on maybe some of the stuff from 2007, like the harder times. I would just imagine I don't know, a lot of that's really well documented, and we don't have it from her side per se, but it might just be a little too, I don't know, hard for her to kind of relive. I'm not really sure. Good question. Okay, gonna keep things moving because we got a lot to unpack, and I'm gonna turn this little ticker on. It's so subtle, I know. It says please subscribe. That would be super awesome. Okay, so the next up, and one thing I was just thinking, Justin Timberlake's mentioned again in one of Britney's upcoming posts that we're going to get to in just a sec. So she's talking about Lynne, talking about JT. She brings them up again in the near future. So stay tuned to this live stream. Okay, so next up is Britney, interestingly, posts a throwback to she posts a throwback video, and it's from a scene in Crossroads where she's crying, and she's recanting a scene where Lucy, the main character played by Britney, obviously, is upset because of issues related to her mom in the movie, played by Kim Cattrall. So we're going to take a look at that post here. And this is the scene of Britney crying. She says, a scene in a movie I did a ways back when I realized my whole journey to find my mom and she doesn't want to see me. I know, pretty effing sad. I mean, P.S., it's actually less worse than what my mom did to me in real life. Now, keep in mind, you can read all of these topics and relive all of these posts and everything at the links in the description of this video. But again, I just want to keep you informed that YouTube doesn't love that. So maybe just don't do it right away. But the links are there. So you can check out all the comments. There's literally hundreds of comments. So Brittany's kind of, talking about her mom and reflecting on their relationship, or, how the relationship essentially dissolved. And that leads us to our next post from Britney, where she's very fired up. And one post that she actually did post, she posted a quote that was like, she can be really rude or something. She knows how to be rude or something. I'm not going to unpack that one. I want to keep things moving, but I do want to take a look at this one. I'm curious to know what people are thinking. I'm going to take another quick look here. Someone's commenting on the super chat that YouTube takes a cut. Yeah, I know. My own 2 cents on that is like, yeah, that's not ideal. It's like taxes basically. And I have to give taxes for the YouTube cut as well. However, YouTube has created this amazing platform for us all to connect. So for me, I'm just like, I get it. I get what they're, it's just part of the deal. So hopefully that doesn't discourage people from continuing to support super chats. But honestly, if you don't want to, I get it. I'm not going to twist your arm or make you feel guilty or anything like that. It would just be cool. Of course. Who doesn't like to get money? Money's awesome. Okay. So let me look at this post here. Oh, let me read this comment. This is why I love the live streams, because it's not perfect. I can't cut any of this. All right. Let me pull up this post here of Britney fired up. And the caption is, it'll hit you like a ton of bricks. And the post was originally, you can see that. So in the Instagram post now, it's just a few roses. She took the caption out. However, the internet's forever. Exhale is forever. And Exhale knows to copy and paste all of her posts, captions, the image, the video, whatever. The videos always get uploaded to YouTube now by readers, because everyone knows these posts can just disappear randomly. So anyway, the caption's gone from her post, but it's here on Exhale. And it says, I always used to hate the way my mom thrived on drama. She would literally scream from the rooftops, and no lie, all night long, arguing with a drunk man who couldn't even talk. And I'm assuming, referring to her father, Jamie. Why? I was the only one who never got any sleep. It wasn't just one night. It was every night of my life. With that said, traditionally growing up going to therapy, where I come from, is looked down on. My parents never went to therapy. They thrived and lived with drama every day of their effing lives. Now, I just want to pause right there. And I like that she is speaking about therapy. I think so. She goes on to talk about therapy in a second. I'm going to continue the quote. However, I think it's worth mentioning and being candid with you that I also attend therapy weekly or every other week. And it's not because my life is imploding or I'm actually in a really great place, but I use therapy as a means to continue that stability. And I think it's strange that people look at people in therapy as if there's there's something wrong with them. It's for me, and I think for many others, it's a powerful tool to be able to talk to somebody about your anxieties, your fears. Everyone deals with that. And instead of internalizing it and then letting your emotions either sit there or somehow sit in your body, or it manifests eventually. It does. No matter what, one way or another, your negative emotion and positive emotion manifests in some type of way. You don't typically get therapy for positive emotion. It's more to handle the negative emotion. So that's what I personally do. Before therapy, this past 4 or 5 months, I was seeking out life coaching. So I just want to be transparent about that, because I don't love the stigma around it. I think everyone should do it. It's everyone should go to the dentist, have a primary care physician, have a therapist. That's just my own 2 cents. Okay. So Britney goes on to say, I was always extremely embarrassed to talk about my personal life and still am to this day. I believe you take it to God. It's none of anybody's business. That's why forcing me so long to talk in therapy has never been my style. Yet at this point, my family has broken me so much, I do need a little therapy. What she's referring to right there is that forced stay at the mental health facility in 2019. So having to go to therapy and being forced to do therapy, the whole point of it is to want to open up. And if you're not in a position to be open, it's not going to be so impactful. She goes on to say, I just find it pretty sad at my hardest times, not only my mother, but my sister tell their books of their story drama. I don't think that's particularly nice. We are entitled to our own story, but this drama is of the devil. So one thing I also want to talk about that is I do agree when Jamie Lynn was going through all that press and everything, I did live streams on that as well. I felt like I did agree with Jamie Lynn in the stance of like she should be able to share her own story. However, the timing of it and the means of it was awful. It was like not the right time to do it. And I guess from Jamie Lynn's standpoint, it's like, when would be a good time? Like, it's my life, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't know, read the room, timing is everything, as they say. So Britney goes on to say, I mean, we all like a little gossip, but dear God, I'm posting a pic of a rainbow I saw in Maui yesterday. So it was a newsflash to me. She's been going to Maui like frequently. I thought maybe that rainbow picture was from way back when, a few weeks ago, but I think she's there again currently, which kind of put the kibosh on, is Britney going to attend the Grammys rumor? I almost want to do a little side note about the Grammys that were on last night. I don't know about you. I like, full disclosure, I didn't watch them. A guy who runs a pop music news community didn't watch the Grammys. And I had so much anxiety around them leading up to them. I was like, I don't want to cover them. I don't want to watch them. And I didn't understand why. But I think in years past, I put so much work into these award shows for Breathe Heavy. And there was such like a small amount of like return, meaning like there wasn't that much traffic, like all the awards and everything is announced everywhere on everyone's Twitter, everyone's Instagram, all the red carpet pictures are everywhere. Like, I just felt like, what is the point? So I've been kind of rebelling against award shows for the last year, just as like a little side note. Like, I barely covered the Grammys last night and I was very happy. I don't know what you think. I just feel like award shows, like, I love all the talent and artistry, but I just feel like sometimes it's just a bunch of like rich people getting into a room together to like, sorry, I just cracked my toes. I don't know if you can hear that. But to like congratulate themselves. And that's not to take away anything from all these amazing artists. Like Gaga was there, obsessed with her, love her so much. Like Doja Cat, just, I don't know. Olivia Rodrigo won. Like, anyway. I know this live stream is kind of a roller coaster, and I'm not even through Britney's quote yet. Okay. Almost there. Stay tuned. So Britney goes on to say, God's rainbows outweigh the storm indefinitely. And that's the message I want to send to my mother and my sister, whose books were what I should have said, and the storm. And so interestingly, the storm thing, Lynne Spears' book was called Through the Storm. And like, also one other random side note, as I was going through some old stuff in my parents' house yesterday, and I randomly found the Through the Storm book because apparently I bought it way back when, 2008. I never read it. I'm not a reader. I'm an audiobook guy. I wasted my money. I feel like I should take a shower because I feel dirty having spent money on that. But it was a different time. Anyway, I'll bring this up with my therapist. So anyway, Britney goes on to say, so when you look at this rainbow, mother, please understand this and only this. I am a woman now. I'm not the type of person to air dirty laundry, but I'm sure as hell not going to sit back and be my family's Jesus Christ. I will speak up and blow the effing house down. My family, again, I will say it, took it way too far with me. I'm still not done. And F you from the bottom of my effing heart. Woo! Okay, that was a lot. And I think the thing I take away from this the most is that Britney's hurt. Like, she's experiencing pain from all of this. And like, yeah, she's out of the conservatorship, but like, she still is like lost her family in many ways. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, whether her family is trying to make amends or what, but maybe too little too late. It's hard for me to kind of speak on it, but that's the scoop. Okay. So this leads into now Britney announcing that she has a memoir, or she didn't call it a memoir. She called it a book on the way. And this was announced today at the time of this recording. So this is very fresh. So I haven't had a second to kind of like unpack what this is going to look like. Obviously, the only parallel I've made thus far selfishly is like, wow, I made a April Fool's joke about this book cover. And then she announces it a couple days later. Just a funny little coincidence. So gonna pull that post up. But actually, before I do that, I'm gonna take another quick look-see at the comments here. Everyone's kind of chiming in, and I just want to make sure this microphone's on. All right. Okay. I'm traumatized. People are saying they don't watch the Grammys either. Jared said that. Whitney was like, they sucked. Eli says Britney doesn't need the Grammys. It reminds me of that video where the paparazzi are like, Britney, are you going to the Grammys? She's like, kiss my ass. That video lives rent-free in my mind. Caleb Ellis says Grammys are rigged anyways in our popularity contest, which I agree. It's like this recording academy is like, I don't know. I'm just like, just award shows in general. It's not just the Grammys. Like back in the day when we were younger, oh my God, I can't believe I said that, but well, that's where we're at in life now. Back in the good old days, we didn't have social media. So award shows were like a really big deal because that's when you could connect with the artist and see them. But now we see them literally every single day. So there's like much less, which I prefer. I like that day-to-day connection. Every time Britney posts and I get that notification, like, oh my gosh, that's like the dopamine hit. But I will say that I do miss the allure of way back when. It's like you turn on the TV and it's like, oh my God, that's the chance you get to see them. So make of that what you will. I'm not sure if you agree. Sorry, I'm also like multitasking to see these comments here. No, someone's asking about the paparazzi thing I just said, but that video is from like 2007 that I was referring to. Someone says she's angry, she's hurt, she's healing. 100% agree. Love that book cover. I assume you meant to say cover. And yes, appreciate that. The artist killed it. It was definitely like he took, interestingly, when I saw the cover at first, I had sent basically all these pictures and like inspo and direction. I was like, I want this. And at first I saw it and I was like, ugh, don't love this at all. And then I just gave it the day. And then later that night, it was Thursday night, so April Fool's was Friday morning. And then Thursday night, I was like, I love this. This turned out great. So, yeah, he definitely killed it. So I'm going to move on to Britney's post now. After I took a look at these. If you haven't noticed, leave a comment. That'd be awesome. Okay. You get the point. All right. So Britney says she's indeed writing a book, and she posted 3 photos and their captions. They're her writing. And as you can see here, we have them. Exhalers posted them in the event Britney's post gets removed. I'm not going to read you the entire thing because obviously you can see it's lengthy, but I'm going to read you some of it that I think is worth addressing. So she says, I want to address my recent post captioning my past. To my understanding, to most, it's confusing. Why express now? Well, I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book at the moment, and as it's actually healing and therapeutic, it's also hard bringing up past events in my life. I've never been able to express openly. I can only imagine that I do sound childish, but I was extremely young when those events took place, and addressing it now, I'm sure it seems irrelevant to most, and I'm completely aware of that. But instead of using my heart, I'm using the intellectual approach, as Justin Timberlake so respectfully did when he apologized to Janet and me. And what she's referring to is when the New York Times documentary came out last year. Yes, last year. There was a lot of outcry about Justin Timberlake, and he ended up kind of righting his wrongs or apologizing anyway to Britney. So she goes on to say, although he was never bullied or threatened by his family, he took the opportunity to apologize 20 years later. Timing is everything. Good timing is the BITCH. Anyway, I wanted to just let people know I care, and I'm so sorry, with like a bunch of laughing emojis. My mom and sister also did the intellectual approach in indulgence by writing their own book, as I couldn't even get a cup of coffee or drive my car or really anything. So she's referring to the constraints of the conservatorship. I'm not the type of person to bring up uncomfortable conversations, well, because it's just not respectful. But come on, let's actually talk about it. When I was younger, there was more of a playful and light approach to everything. It was easy not taking yourself so seriously. Yet in the business, I will just say it, I was indeed treated less than. Most feel they're too good to talk about it. Again, let's talk about it. This is what I love, this attitude of Britney's. I like that she's like opening up about writing a book. It's not the conventional, like, let's keep everything hush hush for the promotional campaign in the future when we announce the book. And it's like, good. I'm glad that she's not taking this approach. I hope that she shares more as the the writing process goes on, because this has been such a unique situation that I think it requires a unique outlook from her, and to do unique things and take unique actions. Take a shot every time I say unique. I don't drink, by the way, so I can't partake, but if you get wasted and watch my videos, let me know. All right, so she goes on to essentially just kind of reflect. Therefore, when someone speaks up and shows their thoughts, their feelings, and their concerns, telling someone something matters, no matter what it was 100% looked down upon. I'm an artist. I'm totally fine not being like, this all comes full circle, or our children are affected by our approach and what we do daily. Our thoughts, our behaviors, our actions. Let's be good examples. Example, what not to do. When I was in Louisiana during COVID, I went to Target to pick things up at the store. I live in the sticks, so it was an hour drive. When I finally got there, I was told by a lady and my father that I could not get out of the car. My security got out of the car, and I waited. Hundreds of kids, adults going in. I've never felt more like nothing in my life. Also, did I miss one thing I wanted to talk about? Or is it in this next? Okay, no, it's in this next part. So she talks about some friends visiting her in Vegas. This isn't the first time she's opened up about this. Essentially, well, I'll read you this caption and give you my 2 cents. She says, unfortunately, I don't forget, and I'm here to remind people what not to do, like my family did to me, so we can be better people for the next generation. There's nothing more embarrassing than 3 of your childhood friends coming to visit you in Vegas, and you are working and performing for them at night. They all go to a spa, and I wait for an hour as they get their nails and toes done and get offered champagne. I wasn't allowed to go to the spa, so I sat outside and waited. Not only did they not even look my way or acknowledge me or show any concern, they drank the whole bottle. Imagine being in the presence of the Britney Spears and like not looking her way. Like, you're low-key a monster, but okay. So she goes on to say, I never complained to anyone about it because honestly, it was just too embarrassing. My mother would always say, I just don't know the rules. So sorry if I've offended anyone by writing these stories, but just as my sister can legally mention my name in her book over 200 times, cry on TV, and get a heartfelt from most, I also have the right to share a couple of paragraphs on my Instagram. Now, one thing that's worth mentioning about Jamie Lynn, and I have one Jamie Lynn story to get to after this as well, is that I don't think, to be honest, most people didn't go for Jamie Lynn. So not to refute what Britney's saying, but I think it just kind of shows this like, I don't know. I just personally saw like a lot of vitriol for Jamie Lynn. So I hope as a byproduct of that, Britney can also feel the sense of support as like the counteraction to that. I was public about not bashing Jamie Lynn. I didn't like that people were doing that. I thought people got really horrible. I definitely think she was in the wrong about a lot of things, but I think the way a lot of fans like reacted, it was to defend Britney ultimately. So that I get. Okay. Which leads me to this post by Jamie Lynn, which is not a good look. She posted this on social, and it says this. Abusers be like, I don't remember that happening. No, Sherlock. For me, it was a formative memory that forever changed the way my brain processes information, and for you, it was an effing Tuesday. So Jamie Lynn posted this to her stories, and recently Britney, when she was going back and forth with Jamie Lynn on Instagram, had said something to the effect of like she didn't like there was no way that had happened. I guess like the whole knife incident. If you want more information on that, I have a live stream about all of that in this little library. So fire up my profile and you can indulge in all the Britney content. Ultimately, what I take away from all of this is that Britney, though she is free from this conservatorship, she's like lost her family in many ways and decided to start anew. Start with pets, Sam Asghari, her assistant Vicky, whom I just, long story short, I had spoken about her in a live stream not too long ago, and she actually somehow caught wind of that and reached out to me and was like very sweet and like really made my day. I appreciated it greatly because I just have a little bit of like, looking back on Britney's former team, I just had so many bad experiences that like, I don't know, just to get any sort of love from, the new people involved in her life is just, I greatly appreciate it because I maintain that I always was like how I am now. I think I'm, in a place where I feel like I'm trying to be the kindest I've ever been. But I think once I turned like 25, 26 after the whole like anger of the conservatorship, and all my posts were they admittedly were very rude. I was just like rebelling against the, consequences of speaking out about the conservatorship. Like, for example, having a bodyguard put behind me at one of Britney's shows, or in my opinion, her former team taking out my Instagram and my Twitter and my Facebook at separate times, like literally getting them removed and having to like me fight for months to get them back, which was very scary and hard because you put all this work into it. So there was just a bunch of things like almost being sued by her father. Can't forget about that. So anyway, it's just nice to feel some love. I know that was like another side note, but you know how these live streams go. I'm going to take a quick look at these comments here. I appreciate everyone weighing in. That's honestly the point of these live streams, is to engage with you. It's not just me exclusively just talking to you about Britney. Someone's asking, does she even have a team? It's a great question. I think she does have like a little team right now. Quickly taking a look here. Some of these comments I can't bring up. Laura Lynn and 2 friends from Kentwood. That's the theory of these friends who went to Vegas. That's probably true. I can't confirm. Whitney, I love you weighing in. You're awesome. Sister drama. I think Jamie Lynn needs to leave Britney alone for a while. Agreed. Just appreciate everyone weighing in. Yes, Vicky. I've not seen that one yet. That makes me laugh. Yeah, she's super cool. And like one thing so basically what I had said that I think prompted Vicky to reach out to me was like, I said that it was really cool that Vicky is Britney's assistant right now, because Vicky's also an artist. She's a musician. She's part of Cobra Starship, amongst other things, and solo work and all that. And I think that Britney being around another musician and artist in general is just really, really important right now. So I had said something to that effect, and I just appreciated getting some love about that. So anyway, guys, greatly appreciate everyone tuning in. That's it for this live stream. Again, if you haven't already, I'm going to just drill it in your heads. If you could like this video, if you could subscribe, you could drop a comment. Any engagement with this channel just helps this channel grow, and I can do these live streams more frequently, which I'd love to do. So let me know what you think. Looking forward to hearing from you. I got so much love for you, and I'll see you in the next live stream. Sending a lot of love. Mwah.